السلام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد. أما بعد, we come now to the issue of al-Iman in the Dajjal, the Masih al-Dajjal, and also the Nuzul of Isa ibn Maryam, salawatullahi wassalamuhu alayhi, and the belief that it is Isa ibn Maryam who is going to be the one who will ultimately and finally kill the Dajjal. And Imam Ahmed puts this in the book because there were people back then during his time, just as there are people right now during our time, who make inkar of this issue. Muslims who don't believe in the Dajjal, and they see it as being something that is from khurafat, and things that are just stories and asatir and awwaleen, stories of the ancient people that shouldn't be believed in today. They outright categorically reject al-Iman in the Dajjal and Isa ibn Maryam coming back as well. And they have different ways of rejecting it. Some people say it's not true at all, so they don't believe in it. And there's ikhtilaf between the scholars of al-Islam whether or not they are non-Muslims, because they are making takdeeb and inkar of what is established in the religion with hadith that are mutawatira. There are a lot of hadith that support al-Iman in the Dajjal. And the other issues that have passed, the hadith of the ru'ya, for an example, the hadith of the hawd, for an example, those ahadith are mutawatira, but the majority of them are not in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. But the ahadith of a Dajjal, many of them, a lot of them are in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. So those people who reject the Dajjal, they say that the Dajjal is an ishara or a rams. The coming down of Isa ibn Maryam, they say, that means during the end of time that there's going to be the nuzul of a lot of khairat. It's going to be, life is going to be opulent and good. But Isa ibn Maryam himself is not coming down. And the inzal of the Masih al-Dajjal means that the evil and the shar is going to be a lot, but it's not really real. That's one interpretation. Another interpretation is that Western civilization is the Dajjal. This Western civilization and technology and what the world has become, the system is a system of a Dajjal, a lot of lying in it, and that's the meaning of the Dajjal. Some people have gone as far as to say that the TV is the Dajjal, and that's the meaning of Dajjal has one eye. It's the TV. All of those are positions. You don't find the Salaf saying those things, and you definitely won't find the companions, Ridwanullah alayhim ajma'in, saying those things. As a matter of fact, if you look at the ahadith, you don't even have to look very deep. It's very clear. Some people reject the issue of the Dajjal because they said it's not in the Quran. It is not in the Quran. But just because something is not in the Quran doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. A man not being able to marry his wife and his wife's auntie, a maternal or paternal auntie, is not in the Quran. So is he going to marry that lady, the auntie of his wife? It's not in the Quran. There are many things that are in the Quran that we believe, and those people make inkar of these things believe as well. But it's just a tala'ub, it's just playing around, it's just playing around. So I want to mention, you have to be careful, even in English, there is that older gentleman, his name is Harun, what was his name? Yahya Harun. Allah yahdiyana wa yahdiyahu, to the correct way. A lot of his interpretations concerning the ashrat of the Sa'ah, you got to avoid that stuff. He's very popular. He's been popular for a very, very long time. His following has decreased now by a lot. But when I was a new Muslim, he was the one, the go-to guy as it relates to these things, and his tafsir and ta'wil and explanation of these things are dangerous. They were dangerous. So the Dajjal is a human being, because some people say he's not a human being. They said he's not a human being. But there are adillah that he's a human being. And Allah Azza wa Jalla has created him with the ability to do what he's going to do. He said the one who looks like the Dajjal the most from the other human beings is a man back then. His name was Abdul Uzza ibn Qatar. He's a human being who looks like another human being, who the Prophet told the people about. Sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. There's another young man during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ibn Sayyad. Ibn Sayyad, he was a man who used to do a lot of things during that time. They thought he was the Dajjal. Even the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had doubt about his situation. And we'll come to that bi'idhnillah when we talk about the second part of the one who's going to kill Dajjal is Isa ibn Maryam. A few very important things concerning the Dajjal. And there are many, many ahadith. We should go back and we should read about it and study this stuff and introduce it to our kids so they're not understanding this thing the wrong way, and we're not understanding it the wrong way. First at the top of the list is, he told us sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that out of all of the fitan known to mankind, there is no fitna that is akbar, that is more a'zam, since Allah created Adam until Yawm al-Qiyamah in this dunya. There's no fitna bigger than the Dajjal. And why shouldn't that be the case when he's going to be claiming al-uluhiyah? And with that claim, he's going to be doing things that will easily trick people. That even people who have iman, people who really are sincere, they're going to follow him. Because Allah has given him the ability to trick people. And that's another reason why people reject al-iman and the Dajjal. They use the aql and they say, why would Allah create such a creation that can lead people astray with all of what he has? He will overwhelm you and mesmerize you with the things that he has, as if Allah has equipped him to lead people astray. We say, first of all, if it's established, we have to take it. Second of all, our religion brought us what we have that's enough to protect us from that. You just do it. So there's no sickness that Allah sent down, except that he also sent down the cure for the sickness. So knowledge is the cure for the sickness of a Dajjal. Praying is the cure for the sickness of a Dajjal. Don't put your intellect like that in front of the nusus. So that's the first thing. He's the greatest fitna. Everybody in this room, if that Dajjal came through that door, may Allah protect us, we have to get in the wind and run away. We don't sit here to talk to him, to discuss anything with him. We don't sit here. As soon as we can identify, that is the Dajjal. He has kafir written on his head. You got to get in the wind and run out the door. And if you see people that you have to say, hey man, come on, and don't go back to help the person. Don't go back and help the person. Because as the Nabi says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, during that time, a person would think that his religion is the good religion, that he's okay, he's practicing, he's on the deen, he's practicing. But when he goes in front of a Dajjal is going to convince you that this man is Allah. And that's the cornerstone of our religion, at-Tawheed, and the uluhiyah of Allah. One of the issues about the Dajjal is what we have in our masjid and in our ummah, and that is knowledge is going to be a little. We've mentioned many times without putting people down. It's just acknowledging it. It's not from the bab of halak nas, halikun. It's not that. The glass is half full. The people know it's not from that bab. It's from the bab. Let us be aware that knowledge is a little bit. And just as there are Christians and Jewish people who don't know anything about their religion, there are Muslims who are exactly the same way. They don't know anything about the religion of Islam. Anything. They hear the people say something, their relatives, Muslims, so they say it themselves. But when it comes to the deen, they don't know anything about anything concerning the deen. So when a Dajjal comes, that's going to be the condition. He will have the ability to say to an Arabi Bedouin who has some doubt, is he the actual Dajjal or he's not the Dajjal? The Dajjal will say to this man, the Arabi, those people from the Bedouins, they don't have knowledge. He will say to him, if I bring your mother and your father back to life, will you believe in me? Would you believe in me then? He say, yeah. The Muslim is supposed to know once you die, you're not coming back here. Your mother's been dead. Your father's not coming back here. We mentioned that before about the hadith of Jabir ibn Abdullah, when Allah Azza wa Jalla told his father, Abdullah, to tamanni alayya, wish for whatever you wish. He said, I wish to go back so I can get killed again in jihad and get shahada, so I can go back and come back and go back and come back. He said, Allah said, don't you know once you leave it, the dunya, you're not going back? No one's coming back to this dunya. No one. The Arabi say, yeah, I believe. And then he will make it so that two shaitans will appear before that man who will look like his mother and his father, and they'll say to him, follow him and believe in him. He's your Lord. And the man says, okay. That's a fitna, because a person loves his father, love his mother, and they're standing before him. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? People lost one of their parents or both of their parents. The pain of losing your parent, only the one who went through that knows what it's like, especially if he was close to him. Now he comes back in front of him and he sees him. He's going to deal with that. Big fitna, big fitna. Other thing about the Dajjal, and that's similar to that, because some people believe it's just one person. The Dajjal is going to be able to convince the people because he'll have all of that stuff at his disposal. Like it not raining for a long time, it's going to be a drought. And we don't really know what droughts are. We know what heat waves are when it's very hot for a long period of time. I'm talking about droughts like they had in Ethiopia in the 80s, 1981, 82. Droughts in Ethiopia, in Eritrea, in the Sudan, those kind of droughts where the vulture was standing there waiting for the little boy to die. The little boy was sitting there and the vulture was just waiting for him. Did you guys see that picture? That's a drought, brother, a drought. People are going to be living in that situation. And the Dajjal is going to come out and point to the sky and it's going to rain. It's going to point to the ground and vegetables are going to come out. He has all of this ability. The animals won't be giving babies. A Dajjal will touch the animals. They're going to start giving babies. They're going to point to the ground. A treasure is going to come out. The poor people are going to get the treasure from the earth. So you see the effect and the ta'thir of social media on people. If you want people to believe anything, it's easy to do AI. It's easy to, what do you call that when they make the picture and they doctor the picture? What is that called again? Photoshop, anything. People, you don't even have to Photoshop. All you have to do is put a crazy statement that goes against, like, for an example, you put on social media, he said, I am the Dajjal. And you just put a picture of Mufti Mink next to that. People will look at that and say, look what Mufti Mink said. That's how it is. We'll make the tarkib of this. That's why anytime you get something as it relates to those text messages, you got to have a minhaj. Don't believe half of that stuff until you make a tathabbut. So that Dajjal will convince most of the people, but there'll be a few people who still don't believe in him. They'll say, okay, the man will come and say, you're the Dajjal that the Prophet warned us of. You have calf on your face, on your head. You have one eye and it's protruding. You're doing all of these things. You're the Dajjal that the Sunnah told us about. Not the Quran, the Sunnah told us. Rasulullah told us. A Dajjal would say to the people, hey, if I kill this man and bring him back to life, will you people then believe that I'm Allah? They say yes. Proved it. He'll cut him in half, walk between it, and the man will come back together. A Dajjal will put him back together, and he'll be alive. And the man will say, now I have no doubt you are the Dajjal, because the Prophet told us about that. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How do you deal with that? I see those magic shows from when I was young. They pretend to saw the man or the lady in half. You can see how they do that. It's not really real. There's no box gonna cut the man. Everybody's gonna look, walk through him, go back, touch him. He comes back alive by Allah's permission. So the way to protect yourself from the Dajjal is run and get in the wind and go the other way. And that's a qa'idah in our religion. That's a principle. People of innovation, don't go to listen being inquisitive. Don't go and listen trying to figure out, I'm going to expose them. I'm going to see what is it all about. Go the other way, because their hearts, they're weak and they're like sponges, and they will absorb those kinds of situations, especially if the person has the gift of God, a sihr in his lisan, or he's doing other kind of tricks. Just go the other way. That's the principle. Certainly the Dajjal, the Messenger of Allah mentioned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there are going to be from our ummah liars, kadhabun, dajjalun, and they will be 27 in number. 4 of them will be from the women, and there is no Nabi after me. This hadith has a lot of narrations concerning it, where these people will come back. One says 27, one hadith said 30. It's around that number, 27, 30. No contradiction. It's around that number. All of them are going to claim he is a Nabi. And he says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I'm the last Nabi and there's no Nabi after me. So the meaning of a Dajjal is one who is a liar, a pathological liar who deceived. He's a deceiver. That's why in the ilm al-hadith, some of those scholars would describe some narrators in a jarh with ta'dil as Fulan is a Dajjal, because he's a pathological liar. That in hadith. He makes stuff up. So it's the one who deceives and the one who lies. So 4 of them will be women, 27, 30. There are more people than 27, 30 people who have come and said that they were prophets and messengers. Still is no contradiction. The meaning of this are people who have a big ta'thir and effect on the people. Not a small person over there in the Zawiyah who says she's a prophet, or this one is saying Allah. The 5%ers. I know a lot of 5%ers. There are more than 30 that I know. They said that they're Allah. Right? They say Allah. Arm, leg, arm, head. Allah. As many of them say that they're God. When they greet each other, they say, what's up, God? Busta Rhymes said he's Allah. No Muslim. These hip-hop artists who are saying that they're Muslims, those guys are from the Nation of Islam, and they're from the 5% nation, and they're from the Akfarun Nas. But the meaning of 2730 is that they will be well known, and they will have a lot of effect and a lot of impact on the people. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us from that. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna ad-dajjal yakhruju min ardin bil mashriq yuqalu laha Khurasan. Dajjal is going to come out. When he comes out and he appears, he's going to come out in a land that is called Khurasan. Khurasan. Between Iraq and Ash-Sham. Iraq is from the Bilad of Ash-Sham. It's between Iraq and those places of Ash-Sham, the Bilad of Sham. It's over there. There's Khurasan in Iran. There are going to be thousands of Yahud from that area who are going to be following the Dajjal. And there's no surprise. Dajjal is a liar. And this is our theology. I'm not preaching, what do they call it again? I'm not teaching anti-Semitism. I'm not teaching hating people, whatever. This is our theology, what we believe. It's what we believe. It's like they have their belief, and that's the thing. You'll say something about your religion, you're anti-Semitic. They come and say something about, their ethno-racists, the Yahud, the Zionists. They're liars. They're liars. And that what we see today and what they're doing and what they're saying, it's okay for them to do things, but if you do the same thing, you're a problem. So recently, I think you all know, I think they found 4 of those hostages from the Yahud. They said that they were killed. They were executed. I don't know. They didn't show any proof. They just made that claim. They said they found their bodies. So the whole dunya and Western media are saying they were executed. They're bad. But for the last how many months have they been killing these people in Palestine? It's like it doesn't count. We say, no, these are the actions of the Dajjal. That type of lying that the media does to desensitize people when it comes to the Yahud, when it comes to white people and Europeans, when it comes to Muslims, people of color, Christians, Muslims of Palestine, second-class citizens. It's a war against Hamas. This is not a war. This is a slaughterhouse. No war, but that's the language that they use. Anyway, this is from the Dalil that the Prophet ﷺ was a Nabi and a Rasul, that he even mentioned that issue back then, that he'll come from a land that is known as Khurasan. And that's why we have to be careful of this dawah of the people of a tashayyur. Don't be on that Machiavellian minhaj in your fiqh and understanding. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's not our religion. Because Iran plays as if they're against the people who are against Islam, we take them as our friend. No, that dawah of Iran is a problem. And we have to know that. What they believe is a problem. And also the role that they're going to play with the Dajjal. And it's because of the Sunnah that tells us, take it easy and don't make takfir of people, especially people who are ignorant. So like other Muslim groups and denominations, we don't make takfir of them, even though what they're saying is kufr, because they're ignorant. So I'm not going to make wholesale kufr against those people, although some of those ulama have. Some of the ulama, our contemporary ulama, make takfir of them, because they say what they say, and what they say is known from the deen with durura, that you can't curse the Prophet's wife, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, make it takveeb of the Quran and the Sunnah. From the issue of the Dajjal, ikhwani, is that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave a lot of descriptions. He said about the Dajjal sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Dajjal la yuladu lahu wa la yadkhulu al-Madinata wa la Makkata. The Dajjal won't have any kids. He won't have any children. And he doesn't have the ability to go into Medina, and he doesn't have the ability to go into Mecca. Now we know that Allah is over his throne in a way that befits his majesty. So we're not going to give that example that if Allah wants to go in Medina and Mecca, a'udhu billah. I'm saying that, but there was nothing that could stop Allah from doing what he wants to do. If anybody believes that Allah can be stopped from doing something that's kufrun billah. But I want you to understand what I'm saying, because our brother from India with the lisp, what's his name? Dr. Zakir Naik, in debating with people, he used to say, Allah can't do whatever he wants to do. Allah can't take you and throw you outside of his mulk because he owns all. No, those kind of, don't say that stuff. Don't say that. Don't say that. Allah can do whatever he wants to do. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. That's it. So we don't even get that in our heads and our ideas. The picture he throw himself out of it. We don't say those kind of arguments. And I'm not saying this to refute him as a person and make him the issue. I'm saying don't connect yourself with people like that. Connect yourself with principles. Dajjal is going to take a lot of people with him because people are going to connect themselves with his person, with his ability to do all of this stuff. And because of that, they're going to be tricked. But if you connect yourself with principles, La ilaha illallah, Allah's as-Sunnah, Allah is this, he doesn't do that, Allah, then you're not going to ever believe in that stuff, inshallah. You're going to believe in that stuff. So you brothers, remember that, Umar, Shuaib, connect yourself with the principles of the religion. As for personalities, we respect them according to, their reality. We respect it. So as it relates to the Dajjal, he won't be able to enter into Medina and Mecca, which is a dalil, and a proof, an indication. You want to be saved from a Dajjal? Go and make hijrah to Medina and Mecca. And he used to encourage the people. He used to tell the people, whoever has the ability to die in Medina, let him do so. But verily, a Dajjal can't go there, can't go. There are malaika on the abwab of Medina and Mecca. A Dajjal will be on the earth for 40 days. First day would be like 1 year. The second day would be like a month. The third day would be like a week. And then the 37 subsequent days will be like these days that we have. Allah is the time. Allah is the time. He changes the night into the day into the night. He does what he wants to do. And that's it. Concerning the issue of the Dajjal, this is really important as well. The companions, they thought that a young boy was the Dajjal because he was telling people things that were going to happen, and they would happen the way he said it during the time of the Nabi, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was making fitna. He was making a lot of fitna. And he lived after Rasulullah, and the people thought that he was the Dajjal. To the point where, authentic hadith, he became angry, be upset in the middle of the street. And the companion said that he became big and took up the whole street. That's in the hadith of Islam. Go back and check it out. They used to say, Wallahi, he is the Dajjal. So some of the companions thought that boy was the Dajjal. And the majority of them said, no, he wasn't the Dajjal. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw the boy playing, and he hid behind a tree, and the boy was playing, and his mother was trying to get his attention behind the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell the boy, Muhammad is behind you, look. So he was doing whatever he was doing. He turned, he saw his mother. She said, Muhammad is behind the tree. Rasulullah looked at the mother and came out and said, if she did not come and do this, I would have found out your reality. Because he was a problem. The Surah Ad-Dukhan was revealed, which means smoke, the heavens, the clouds, Ad-Dukhan. And the ayat is talking about what's going to happen. And the surah was revealed. Rasulullah went to the boy and said, something was revealed to me last night. What was it? The boy said a dukhan. He didn't say dukhan. He said a dukhan, which is close. I'm about to say, Ya Rasulullah, let me deal with him. Let me chop his head off. He said, no, Umar, if he is not the Dajjal, you won't be able to kill him. And if he's not the Dajjal, killing him, what good is it going to do? It's going to spread that we kill people when they disagree with us. We kill people. It's really important, Ikhwan, because right now, a lot of our shabab, when it comes to weighing harms and benefits, especially as it relates to jihad and things like this, the shabab will do anything without considering what are going to be the ramifications of that. What are going to be you have to weigh things. And it isn't for every Amr, Bakr, and Zayd just to do things. So he prevented him from killing them, because if he was the Dajjal, he wouldn't be able to, because Isa ibn Maryam is going to kill him. And if he did kill him and he's not the Dajjal, then what's the benefit? People are going to say you kill people. Now it's important you understand this. This boy Ibn Siyad, he had children. He had children. He also went to Mecca. He had children. He also went to Mecca. He also has a son who was thiqah in the Kutub al-Sittah. And as the riwayat are maqbool and they accept it. So for all intents and purposes, it doesn't seem like he is the Dajjal. Dajjal is somebody else. Dajjal is somebody else. Plus he died a long time ago. But the majority of the companions were not on that. But there were some companions who used to swear by Allah that he was the Dajjal. Ibn Kathir said he is a Dajjal from the Dajjal, like one of those 30. He's one of them. Someone whose ta'thir and his fitna was very big, but he's not the actual real Dajjal. Lastly, concerning protecting ourselves, we mentioned number 1, live in Medina, live in Mecca. Number two, reading, memorizing, understanding, contemplating the first 10 ayat of Surah Al-Kahf and the last 10 ayat of Surah Al-Kahf. Number 3, he told the people, before you complete your salat, seek refuge in Allah from 4 things. We mentioned this in the adab of the qabr. When we did Al-Imam Ahmad's book, seek refuge in Allah from those 4 things, from the fitna of the Masjid, Dajjal, in your prayer. And as I mentioned before, the great tabi'i from Al-Yemen, Ta'us Al-Yamani, he used to say to his children, did you read that dua? His son say, no, I didn't read it. He said, go pray again, go pray again. Keeping him connected to all of those 4 things that are in what the Prophet mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. And lastly, we repeat what we said, run away from him. Don't be inquisitive. Last thing as well, concerning the Dajjal. You know, this issue of the Dajjal, if like Imam Ahmed throughout his book keeps telling the people, we just take it the way the hadith comes. And we accept the narrations, because some of these things, if you leave your mind to be in the arena of asking questions, you're going to go astray. You brothers heard of the Sufi man, Al-Hallaj? Al-Hallaj was a problem. We have Sir Alam al-Nubala here. Go into the Google, what's that? Wikipedia, and put Al-Hallaj in there. Hallaj was way out there. We got to be careful of this. One of our kids, I love him. I think his name is Rayan, the boy in our class. He comes in with, the school is called Ibn Sina. We don't have names of Ibn Sina, Al-Hallaj. Even the Fusul in the madrasa, you shouldn't call it Fusul Ibn Sina. Because these personalities, the knowledge of our religion, knowledge is down. These people were heretical. They were people of Tashayyu', and they were heretical outside of Islam, non-Muslims even. Hallaj's mind was so great, he was a tremendous mathematician, and Hallaj, he was a really hakim, doctor. And Ibn Sina, these people were doing not geometry. What's that thing Muhandisun do? What's that math they do? Beyond that. Yeah, like quantum physics, but some other stuff beyond that. There's some big mathematical stuff they be doing. Some of that mathematical stuff brings them to the Iman in Allah. And some of it makes them, doubt the existence of Allah. Elijah would tie the thing on his finger at nighttime, a string, so that when he wakes up in the morning, he knows he's the same person that went to bed that night. Elijah would not touch his wife because he didn't know if she turned into his auntie, his daughter, his mother. And there's stuff that will make you go crazy. Who thinks like that? We have enough real issues that we're dealing with that the khayulat of these people, imaginary equations and situations and scenarios. So a Dajjal is like that. This man, Ibn al-Siyad, there are a lot of things like that can really get you off the square in your religion. So don't follow after that. And this is what happened to some of the brothers recently in their dawah that they're giving. When they have these crises of iman, and they say you can make dua to the grave and things like that, because these shubahat that come. So beware of the shubahat. Lastly, Isa ibn Maryam is going to come down at the gate of Lud, which is in Palestine, our Palestine, in that land right there with all of that drama going on. He's going to come down at that place and he will kill the Dajjal. Him personally will stick a spear into him. And the Muslims who will be with him on that day, they will kill the followers and the atba of the Dajjal. Who's going to follow him? The Yahud, the Munafiqun are going to be, and people think they're Muslims, but they become kuffar, kafirun. They're going to be the followers of the Dajjal. The hadith, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق منصورة. There will always be a group of people from the Ta'if al-Mansura. That hadith is specifically talking about Isa ibn Maryam and the Mahdi and the people who were with them. But it's also for any and everybody throughout the time. It won't hurt them. Those who try to go against them, those who try to forsake them, they won't hurt them. There will always be a group of people. This hadith specifically, him talking about it, he was talking about the Ta'if al-Mansura in the future with a Dajjal, with Isa ibn Maryam and the Mahdi. But it's not exclusive to them. There would always be a group of people like that, and we pray and we hope that we're from those people, inshallah. Inshallah. Okay, ikhwan. If you brothers have any questions, you can put your questions forward now. And kan indukum shay'un. He's going to have the river. He's going to be able to show people the Jannah. He's going to be able to show just a lot of stuff that's just going to cause people to go astray. I forgot to mention this. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was never a Nabi, a Rasul, except that he warned his people of the Dajjal, everyone. So he's from the Usul of Islam, meaning knowledge-wise. He said, but I'm going to tell you something that no other prophet told their people. I'm going to give you information only our ummah knows. Anybody know what that is? He said, he has one eye. No one else told them that. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sitting with his companions, and he was talking to them, and he looked over there. They all looked over there. He was talking to them about the khuruj of the Dajjal. He said, from the signs of the hour, Yawm al-Qiyamah, people won't mention the Dajjal from the minbar. You won't hear the khutbah about it. You won't hear a lesson about it. You won't hear a reminder, and people need to be reminded. So he's telling them about the Dajjal, and they were afraid. He stopped and looked over there. Everybody looked. When he looked back, they all looked pale and afraid, showing how his words just affect them. He said, what's the matter? Because he doesn't know the ilm al-ghayb. What's the matter? They say, you were just telling us about the Dajjal. And then you looked over there. When we looked, we thought he was going to come out. So we were afraid. He said, don't worry. If he comes out and I'm here, فَأَنَا حَجِيجُكُم مِّن دُونِهِ, I'll be the protector of you. I'll get between you and him. You come behind me. I'll deal with him. But if I'm not there, then kullu mu'min hajij nafsihi. If I'm not there, everybody will be on himself. Everybody. That's why we have to ask Allah Azza wa Jalla, don't leave us to our own devices for the blinking of an eye, brother. The amount of time it takes to blink an eye. Allah, don't let me rely on myself for the blinking of an eye. That's without the Dajjal. So it's a serious issue. And as part of the hadith, if you people knew what I knew, you cry more, you will laugh less. And the way the life is, the ghafla. May Allah protect us. May Allah protect us. Go back and read the Dajjal. Go back and read the thing with Isa ibn Maryam coming down at the door of Ludda and how he's going to lead the Muslims in victory in the jihad. He's going to make jihad, break that cross, kill that swine, leave off the jizya. No more jizya. All of that stuff. Is he going to get married? Allahu a'lam. Allahu a'lam. Allahu a'lam. Any questions, Ikhwani? Okay, then inshallah, we stop here. And may Allah Azza wa Jalla protect us, our babies and our families from the Masjid ad-Dajjal. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.